Year and a week and a day since my last opiate. I'm at 8 months and a week off all benzos. Um, and it's been well over a year since I came off a host of pharmaceuticals, including muscle relaxers and Lamotil and antihistamines, Benadryl, um, Claritin, or no, sorry, Zyrtec, 3 Zyrtec a day, just a whole bunch of things. It was, it's insidious how a person gets on a host of pharmaceuticals. A little over 7 years ago, I was put on an antidepressant, which I'd been on before. I was also put on routine pain meds, which I'd been on occasional pain meds before. And then I got put on routine sleeping meds, which I'd been on before. And then my life started spiraling out of control, and instead of helping me with maybe some counseling or some physical therapy or even some imaging to show what's going on with my body, my primary care physician had a pill for every situation. And when you hurt and when you can't sleep and when that progressively continues, you grasp at whatever might help. You become very, your whole life is about trying to find sleep and be without pain. And so they just kept piling on. Well, then pretty soon the medications, as well as an undiagnosed food allergy, my stomach was having problems, my sleep, I became tolerant to the benzodiazepines and the sleeping medication, and so I never slept. I mean, I hardly ever slept. So the doctors, not understanding, they just say, take more, or try a different pill, and that's how it happens. It's very subtle and very insidious. And about 3 years ago, I realized this isn't sustainable. I can't keep taking more medications. And I told my primary care provider, I said, I got to figure something else out. And she recommended cannabis. And then I had someone that introduced me to RSO, Rick Simpson oil, or cannabis oil, and that was the beginning of coming off medications. It has saved my life. Over the period of 30 months, I came off 10 prescriptions. I was at 90 milligrams, up to 90 milligrams of oxycodone a day. Typically it was 45, but I would some days get up to 90 milligrams. I was also at 3 milligrams of Ativan a day, trying to sleep, plus all these other medications for other conditions or the side effects and symptoms of medications. Plus, I was taking over-the-counter medications and supplements, simply trying to feel better. So when I came off all the medications, when I stopped the opiates last year and then subsequently 2 months later stopped the benzodiazepines, I had a horrific withdrawal episode and suffered and have continued to suffer protracted withdrawals. But I'm here to tell you, at 8 months with no benzos and 10 months since jumping off 1 milligram and a year with no opiates, I am feeling better than I have in probably 7 years. I did get put on a couple extra medications when I had a breakdown during my withdrawals and detox. I was put on Remeron and clonidine for sleep because I just wasn't sleeping at all, as well as I was put on Seroquel. In January, I came off the clonidine and the Remeron, and over the period of the last, since September, I have cut my doses of Effexor and Seroquel to 1/3 of what they were. And I am hoping to be completely off all meds within the next 6 months. It has been quite a journey. Doctors, treatment facilities, the general public, they don't understand. They aren't realistic about how terrible it can be to come off these medications. Even though my primary care provider was aware I was detoxing off these, and even after my first hospitalization, she was like, "Oh, this is just something else. This doesn't have to do with the medications," because they don't want to take any responsibility for that. But the reality is, coming off opiates and benzodiazepines, even if you have taken them 100% as prescribed or less than prescribed, like I did quite often, your body has become dependent. Your brain has been altered. My brain has been damaged. My GABA receptors are damaged. And so my excitability during those first months was over the top, and it was miserable. And what is so tragic is that family and friends and loved ones, they don't get it either, because, if there isn't a doctor or somebody in authority that is going to sit down and explain it to them, then the only thing that they have to bank on is that you've lost your flippin' mind. Because that's kind of how it looks. But I haven't lost my mind. And I wasn't losing my mind. I just was not able to control myself. My GABA receptors and my brain damage, I took things in and reacted, and I really sometimes couldn't control it, and that's just the way it is. But I own up to what I've done, or the things that happened during that time. I owned up to them right away, to the point of trying to send someone to make a deposit to the bank to pay for the damage I did to windows while I was in the hospital. I've owned everything that I've done. And I've learned who I can count on and who I can't. And I've learned to be more outspoken and not so concerned with pleasing everybody, because I tried that for years and years and years, and I failed miserably. So part of my recovery is learning to please myself. And it may look a lot different than what anyone else thought it should look like for my life, but I am pleasing myself and finding a life that has nothing to do with what anyone else wants for me and only what I want for me. There is nothing I have dealt with that has been so difficult. This has been the most difficult thing. But after a year, I'm so glad I did everything I did. I'm so glad that I came off the medications, regardless of the loss. Because the gains are worth everything. I am living again. And whatever it takes, that's worth it. So if you're struggling through detox, through tapering, through withdrawals, through protracted withdrawals, hang in there. Now feeling like I'm been having window after window after window, days and actually a couple of weeks since I've had a bad wave. You know, I make these videos for myself too, because I know how this can go, and this recovery isn't linear, and out of nowhere sometimes horrible symptoms will just fly in your face and you just feel so terrified. But I make videos for people struggling and for myself, for days that I'm scared and it's hard and I think, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. I'm so glad I did do this one day at a time, naturally. So, best wishes to you in your recovery, and thanks for watching. I hope you're doing well. Peace.